Hey guys, it's Maria Park at Approach the Nerd, and we are doing our Nerd Stream Friday, and we are using our stream to review Falcon and Winter Soldier Episode 2, which is actually getting better and better and better. One thing I will say though, when I first started like the episode, I heard that marching band play, and I thought that was their opening song. Wow, with jamming, I was like, what? And then I realized that was actually part of a scene. That music was on point. Not to say that the ending isn't, but I've noticed that they don't really do the whole WandaVision thing in this, meaning they don't actually have an opening because apparently MCU's like, when it comes to Falcon and Winter Soldier, we ain't spoiling shiz like they did with, with WandaVision. I don't know if that was a creative choice or maybe they just learned their lesson from everybody putting theories out, including myself, based on what they were seeing in the opening. So, yeah, whatever. I mean, it was not hurting the show, but I just thought that was interesting. So we got John Walker more into this episode, our pseudo, Captain America, our placebo Captain America, which again, he is canon accurate. He was Captain America for a stint in the comics. But yeah, John Walker's doing his rounds, talking with his lady love, and, basically he's expressing his desire to want to make everybody proud, to want to make everybody accept him, even though, he can never be Steve. And, he's tested off the charts in speed, endurance, and intelligence. He's won like 3 medals of honor. There's even a joke in here where Bucky's like, have you ever jumped on a grenade? And he's like, yeah, 4 of them. And I'm like, do that, man. Then of course we have his partner Hoskins. I won't talk a lot about him. I am going to talk about him more, I think, in episode 3, because I just have a theory and I just need to see if it plays out. But, all right. So this entire episode did 2 things for me. Number 1, it finally gave me Isaiah. That Isaiah freaking Bradley and Patriot were introduced in this. And it really got my couples therapy episode dream that I didn't know I needed, that I needed fulfilled between Sam and Bucky. That scene where they had to go to couples therapy. Well, they really weren't in couples therapy, but that shit was funny. I'm sorry. That was funny. I love their therapist. I love when she was like, have you heard of the miracle question? And then, the whole thing with Bucky and the whole thing with Sam's interaction, how they were like not really taking the therapy session seriously. And she's like, okay, let's move on. Let's do the soul gazing exercise. And they start doing a staring contest. And that whole thing was hilarious. How they talk to each other is hilarious. Like Sam can't call Bucky Buck because that's what Steve used to call him. Bucky is very aggravated that he gave the shield away when, he basically says to Sam, if Steve was wrong about you, then he could be wrong about me. I think that is the whole thing. Like Bucky's doing this whole soul searching thing, trying to figure out what the hell to do, because, he was brainwashed by Hydra. Then he went from one battle to the other. And even in the last episode, he kept saying, I don't really have downtime. The only time I've ever had peace is that tiny little stint when he was recovering in Wakanda, which I love the reference to White Panther by Sam in this. And he's like, actually White Wolf. And I love that Sam didn't realize he was White Wolf. I guess, they were calling him that, I thought, in Endgame, but maybe he just wasn't listening. I don't know. But I just thought that the entire interaction, like what makes this show for me is not just all these Easter eggs. It's basically the chemistry between Bucky and Sam, because they are effing hilarious. All right, so we know that there's super soldier serum in this episode. We see that they're tracking down the terrorist organization, the Flag Smashers, and they've tracked him down. And Sam had Red Wing track him down, and of course Bucky's like, I don't trust Red Wing, and I'm like, of course you don't. And so they're basically going to find out what is happening with this group, because they are a terrorist group. They're gaining power, and basically Sam sees them as a threat. So in the middle of them arguing about the shield, Bucky decides, I'm gonna go with you. It's like, and I love that they're in the plane, and Sam says, he's basically, Bucky says he doesn't have a plan, and he's like, I have a plan, and he just jumps out the plane. And then you see him, like, Bucky's like, all right, I don't really need to shoot anyway, because they didn't have a shoot. So he just jumps out of the freaking plane. And I'm like, That's Bucky. I will say this side note, though. I don't know if this is an intentional choice, but it kind of feels like now that they're playing up, well, not really playing up, but we have Captain America now, John's version of Captain America now. I feel like Bucky's losing a lot of fights lately. And I don't know if this is all in his head and it's holding him back because he's not trying to kill anybody anymore. I don't know what it is. I just know that it was interesting. The whole scene where they're fighting on the trucks, to me, I felt like Bucky went down real easily. There were just two guys holding him. We're talking about a man who literally can walk into the embassy and kill 37 people with without breaking a sweat. And now he's kind of like, not as, I don't know, it wasn't, that whole scene for me wasn't as intimidating as I feel like a Bucky Winter Soldier type fight would be. But that's a personal thing. That's just me, not taken away from the show. Because again, this episode was really good. But I just felt like that entire scene was just very strange. Like we meet Carly Morgenthau, who is basically, she's Flag Smasher in the comics, and that's who she is in this, and she's on the super soldier serum. We don't know why they're getting the super soldier serum, how they're getting the super soldier serum, but they're fighting against the man. They're unhappy that after the blip, everybody that's coming back, the Global Reparation Council is kind of putting the same jokers in office, and they're just, everybody that was corrupt and in power is coming right back. Everyone that was blipped out. So I guess they feel like it was probably better, before, and now you've got the same corruption and intolerance and all of this stuff coming back. So that they are a radical group, kind of wants things to be in a new order, one people, one plate, whatever. They want to have a better world, but they're going about it in very extreme ways, like terrorist groups. So she is the head of this, and so that's who they are initially looking for. They just don't realize it. So when Bucky sees, like they go to the where the trucks are being loaded, so Sam and Bucky, they have this basically idea of where the people are. Red Wing goes in, and basically checks out all the people that are there. They argue about, Bucky going to take the two guys out. Of course, there's a heck of a lot more than two guys, which is a good thing they didn't do that because they didn't realize that they were all souped up on the super serum. But so like they see these two trucks rolling out, and I was thinking this is very weird. So like the trucks are moving, and then they think there's an eighth person, which is the hostage who's in one of the trucks. So Bucky goes running. And he jumps in the back of the first truck in front of the second truck. And I'm like, that right there just told people that you're there. They're looking at you. So there was nothing stealthy about that. Now, to be fair, they may not have been trying to be stealthy, but I just thought that was an interesting choice. They'll be jumping in front of the truck in the front where the girl was, in front of the back truck, which is also the villains of this scenario or whatever. But they get in there and they think that the girl is in trouble. And Bucky's like, hey, what's your name? I found the hostage. And then he whoops his ass. She whoops his ass. Bucky and both Bucky and Sam got their butts whooped. And Captain America shows up, and he was doing okay. He's very good at fighting and strategically, and he's good at using the shield, but he doesn't have super strength. So he got his A handed to him too, as well as his friend. And like, to me, it kind of looked like him and his partner remind me a lot of Steve and Bucky, especially since they have John going on the circuit, kind of like how in the original Captain America movie, he was basically traveling, and he was a symbol for America's freedom, and that's exactly what the hell they're doing with John. So I was like, you know what? I can see like this is kind of like a reflection of what it's almost like part 2 of the same story, or a remake, I guess. So, but Bucky and Sam's reluctance to accept him is interesting because I can see it from both sides. Yeah, they're very loyal to Steve. And they're very loyal to the idea of Captain America. But what they forget is that Captain America was basically created to do the same thing that is happening with John. He was literally traveling around in shows, and he was doing commercials and taking photographs. He was a public figure before he decided to become a hero himself. So the shield, the suit were all designed for theatrics to motivate troops to fight. And so for this guy doing the same thing, America's just doing what they did with the original Captain America. But let's talk about original Captain America, which is really Isaiah Bradley. Isaiah's story has always been traumatizing for me because, we all know that if you followed it and you're a minority, his backstory, how he got a janked up version of the super serum, kind of like what Wolverine got. Wolverine kind of got a really messed up version of a super serum too. But there was basically a test sample of Black men that they gave the super serum to first, which is racist as hell, but I mean, accurate. They did it with syphilis. They did it with malaria. They did it with a bunch of other diseases in the military. Absolutely accurate. This is literally a reflection of how Black men were treated back then, and really still are, but not on the level of, well, I won't even say that. Who knows what the military does right now? Even though I'm a military brat, I'm gonna be real with you. My dad was a victim of Agent Orange, so, and it is a thing. But I think that the whole thing with Isaiah getting the super serum, getting its unstable version of it, going over to fight, the Nazi and in this version Hydra as well, defeating them, getting captured, being tortured, being rescued, still managing to whoop A, and then coming home and then getting court-martialed for stealing Cap's freaking suit and shield and going to jail. That is some BS. And on top of that, if you follow the comics, eventually his, neurologically, his cells start breaking down. So he gets like a form of dementia or something like that. And then his grandson, Patriot, or Eli, becomes a Young Avenger. So we're setting up another Young Avenger. So we got another one in the pipeline now. So Eli, we're going to have Patriot. And we'll have Ironheart. We're going to have, Hawkeye, Kate Bishop. We're going to have Cassie Lang. We're going to have Wiccan, of course. If we have Wiccan, we're going to have Hulkin. And of course, we have America Chavez coming in Doctor Strange too. So they are setting up Young Avengers. Like, it's awesome. Like, they're just doing it naturally, like they did with the original Avengers. I need the DCU to start understanding that they need to be following this. Get to, you know what I mean? Get Young Justice started. But yeah, the whole thing with Isaiah breaks my heart because technically speaking, Isaiah is the very first Cap, not Steve. Isaiah, because he predates Steve Rogers, and he is not well known. And I love that scene. I love when Bucky came in and he was like, "Oh, I remember you. I remember I whooped your A. I took half your damn metal arm off. Good to think you grew. Good to see you grew it back. And he's like, you either came here to basically kill me, or I wanted to see how your arm was hanging up." But I'm like, oh, and I love that he is still extremely strong. Like, he threw that thing against the wall. I was like, yep. Now I need to know where Patriot is right now. And the reason I'm saying that is in the comics, if something happens and he gets like a blood transfusion from his grandfather, from Isaiah. And that's how because he has the DNA of his grandfather who had the super serum. He was able to hold on to the super soldier serum powers. So he was super strong, fast. He pretty much like a mini version of Captain America. I don't know if we've already gotten to that point, or we're going to get like a backstory for that. Like with Monica Rambeau, it's going to happen like organically and very, very quickly. But I'm excited that we have we got Eli opening the damn door, and then you got Isaiah sitting in the back. I'm like, we're at the Bradley's house. I'm like, what? Side note, how funny was that when when Sam comes up and one of the kids is like, my granddad is, I think it was his daddy or granddad, say, "You're Black Falcon." He's like, "No, I'm just Falcon." He's like, "No, but I mean, you Black Falcon." He said, "So you black kid?" I was like, that was funny. Like, why you gotta be that way? And of course, we had to have racist cops. We had to have a segment of racist cops because you're in the hood. And so, of course, they came and literally asked Bucky, "Is this man messing with you, sir?" And he's like, "Do you know who he is?" And he's like, "That's Falcon from the Avengers." And all of a sudden it was like, "Oh, sorry, sir." I'm like, "You racist pieces of crap." I mean, what? Really? Really? And I mean, I would have loved to have seen them try and take Falcon on, even out of suit. He would have whooped their ass. But you know what? It's all good. It is all good. But no, like, this episode for me was really cool. Like I said, the best for me was the banter between Sam and Bucky, and of course, seeing Eli and Isaiah. And I really hope that Isaiah gets more of a role in this. I really hope he's not already in the stages of neurological disease, because that would suck. I need him. I mean, a dream of mine would be for him to take on the Shield and fight by the end of the series, at least, or like maybe even before the episode, the premiere, whatever, finale or whatever. I would absolutely, that's like a wet dream. I'm like, seeing Isaiah Bradley effing put on that suit and shield and fight, man, talk about, just like when Bucky's like, we should take the shield from him And Sam, why didn't you keep the shield? I'm like, because he don't need it. Give it to Isaiah. That's what you need to give it to. He went to effing jail for that damn shield. Nobody deserves that shield like Isaiah does. He was literally racially court-martialed for taking the shield, for going over there and fighting, for literally winning, and imprisoned. Man, I was like, make me come for your ass. Make me come for you. But yeah. Can you tell I'm passionate about this? But yeah, if you take anything away from that, you know that I'm a big Isaiah fan. Because I feel like he got so shafted in the comics, and he got so shafted in this. They kept that storyline that when he said, and I went to jail, they put me in jail. I was like, no, MCU didn't even give him an alternative. No, they kept that same effed up storyline. I was so mad. Yeah. That's fine. And it looks like we're going to get to Baron Helmut Zemo again, because they're going to go talk to him to see if he has any insight on the damn super serum. It's a really good episode. There's so many stories that are happening simultaneously. We've got, him going to Isaiah and Eli to try and work out where the serum could be coming from. But of course, Isaiah was like, I ain't doing that. And then, they don't want to work with Captain America. And he got Bucky got arrested for not going to therapy, which is how we were led to the Bucky and Sam couples therapy, session to begin with. And I'm telling you, it was effing hilarious. But Captain America got him out so that he could work with him. And they were like, well, we're free agents. We don't have the same structure as you. You guys have to follow the rules. We don't. And so then Captain America was like, well, word of advice, stay out of my way. And I'm like, here we go. Here is the antagonistic stuff right here. So now they're going to be button heads on top of trying to fight the Flag Smashers. And it is going to be a convoluted mess. It's going to be a convoluted mess. So we have that going on. We have Bucky, who has still not told his friend that he killed his son. That's a side note. And we already know that, I think her name was Lauren, the girl he went on the date with. We already know she's going to be in a few episodes. So because I looked at the cast list, she's actually credited in more eps. So he's going to have a connection to her. So we're going to have that side story. We're also going to have to deal with Hydra in some capacity. There's so many things that are going to be going on in this series. So that's why we don't have an opening like we did with WandaVision. Too many I'm telling you, MCU was sitting back like, we ain't spoiling shit. We ain't spoiling nothing in this episode. Like, you think you're going to get something from us? No, we might have a little something in the ending that you may pull out, like locations, blah, blah, blah. But you ain't getting nothing. No, we holding that. This ain't WandaVision. I see what you're doing. I see what you're putting out. But yeah, so far I am extremely excited. I'm more excited than I was for the episode 1, I guess, pilot episode 1. This one gives me hope that we're going to be seeing a lot more Isaiah and potentially a little bit more Eli. They probably won't see Eli, because if you notice how they shot that scene, his face was kind of like obscured by the door, blurred out when they were coming in. So I think that was done on purpose. This is going to be a character that we're going to be dealing with later, but we want to establish that Patriot is coming. So there he is. Say hi and then move along. That's literally what I'm seeing, which, I'm okay with. I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'm happy. I like anytime we get Young Avengers references, it makes me excited. I'm waiting to see how this ties in with Secret Invasion, because I know at one point or another we're going to have that, because I know Eli was fighting in the Secret Invasion war, if I remember correctly. And it was there that he actually got wounded or hurt at some point, and they had to give him his grandfather's blood because he was dying. And that's when it kicked in. So I have a feeling Eli is going to be in Secret Invasion too, as well, as soon as that show hits. Guys, I am in love. I am absolutely in love with the series, because they gave me my Captain America. So I'm happy. Let's see. Falcon and Winter Soldier is a much more simple and straightforward. It is definitely, well, WandaVision was made to be a mind fuck. I'm sorry I'm cussing it here, but let's just be real. It's Wanda. If you look at WandaVision as her mental state and her mind works, Of course it's going to be crazy. So it makes perfect sense that that's how it was, delivered to us. We basically got a visualization inside of Wanda's head. That's what WandaVision is. I like how they tried to make you like John Walker at first, but as the eps went on, something is off. So John Walker in the comics was never a bad guy. Remember, it's not that he's bad. He has an inferiority complex to Steve. You can see it in this. I mean, that's why he has all these medals of honor. That's why, because he even said, I followed him when he came back. I kind of feel like Steve was also his role model, but he was like the unattainable because he doesn't have the superhero serum, which the superhero serum, I have a feeling may actually come into play in this. They may give it to John Walker, or he may be trying to get it. And that could be what his end game is. He wants to be the ultimate hero. And the best way to accomplish that and not get your A handed to you, by Carly and her crew, is to take the serum yourself. Either he's going to try and get it, or the government's going to give it to him, because they shady as hell. They shady. So yeah, I have a feeling that that's possibly on the table, that John's going to go after the serum, which is unfortunate and sad. But John Walker was not he wasn't an a-hole in the comics. He was just a placement holder in the comics. That's it. He is a plot device for other Captain Americas and other storylines. So, but the MCU does their own thing. So, I wouldn't be surprised. Let's see here. The couples therapy was hilarious. I freaking love it. I love how as soon as she said, I'm going to use I use in couples, I said, oh Lord. I'm telling you, everybody's like, I love Steve and Bucky. No, I have always thought that Falcon and Bucky were the better duo, because they couldn't stand each other. Then they tolerated each other and they talk mad shit to each other, but you can tell they would still help each other out in fights. And I feel like they're going to become best damn friends by the time this is over. So don't listen to that crap that Sam said. Well, you can, we go do this, we'll handle this, then you can go your way and I'll go my way, and we'll ever have to see each other again. And Bucky kind of looked dejected. He's like, fine with me. He's like, wait, you my only friend, man. You are my therapist. I'm like, I really like that. I love how codependent Bucky is going to become on Falcon, because he was pretty codependent on Steve. And Steve was a very romancing Bucky throughout his entire run. So, it is what it is. Isn't Isaiah too old now, though? Hell no. He got the super serum. Is Wolverine old? Like, people underestimate the age of Wolverine. Wolverine was back in the same timeline or time space, maybe a little bit later than than Steve was when he got the super serum. So Wolverine is old as hell, but nobody questions that. You leave my Isaiah alone. Let's see. Favorite Sam line in this episode? Probably White Panther. I really liked he said, well, there were so many. I like when Bucky hit the ground. He's like, I recorded all that, right? That was funny. I got all that recorded. So there's not really a line I don't like that comes out of Falcon or Sam's mouth, because he is hilarious. And Bucky reacts like so. So Falcon to me does all the comedy driven lines. Bucky gets a few, but all the really comedy driven lines are delivered by Sam. It's Bucky's reactions to him that are funny. How he reacts and I love the stare. I love how he's always like, you staring again. You doing that stare again. He's staring again. He's like, I have one mode. One mode. But yeah, I freaking love them. They stick that act on the road. I want to see Camille McFadden as Patriot, but this actor is cool too. Yeah, if you're going to introduce Isaiah, it makes sense that he would end up being Patriot. Eli would end up being Patriot. So I think people are going to be happy with it. I don't know how America Chavez is going to play into this, because I know that they cast a young girl, 13, to be her in Doctor Strange 2. Though, again, if they're going to the utopian parallel, and this is a search for whatever, that could be prior to either prior to her mother's dying. No, because they died when she was a lot younger. So I'm thinking it's probably right after her mother's died, and she's doing her little run, because she actually left home, I want to say at like 10 or 11, and just started jumping into different multiverse Earths and started being a self-proclaimed hero. And it wasn't until she was older that she really started joining teams. So I think that this may be a pre-version of the Avengers version of America Chavez that we will eventually get, because I really need Kate Bishop's Haley Steinfeld to have the banter that both Kate and America have with each other in the comics, because it is effing hilarious. They are literally like Falcon and Sam to me. Sam and Bucky to me. I really need to have that relationship repeated in Young Avengers with these two, because they say crazy crap to each other. So I need that in my life. Have you seen the leaked costumes? Because they look so good. I saw a few pictures. I'm trying not to spoil myself. I am not looking at other people's reviews on this. Even after I do them, I am not looking at anything, because I'm actually trying to be very organic with this show. It's not like House of M. It is connected to the universe, but I'm trying to figure all this crap out for myself, because if I get somebody else's theory in my head, it's going to mess me up. So I'm trying to figure out where they're going and see if I'm right. And then when the series ends, then I'll go back and say, oh, that's what everybody else thought. It is a heck of a lot easier. Because if you ever start looking at other people's theories on anything, it didn't even have to be MCU. It will mess you up. So, no, I have not. But I'm glad you think they look good. I take your word for it. That is awesome. Nothing like multitasking between watching you, Maria, and cooking fried turkey strips. I mean, you gotta do you, boo. It's lunch or dinner time somewhere. Let me move up. Sorry, trying to get here. Did you watch Invincible? I have not watched Invincible. I need to. I have a lot of stuff on my list. I already did that one. That was hilarious. Hold on. Okay. It would be cool if they could include a prequel for Isaiah. I would love for them to do. They should do a free. Well, okay, because I know they planned all of this out. So I know everything is tied in with Secret Invasion and Doctor Strange too. That would be an interesting show. A sorcerer. Time Lord. Okay. That might be a comic book. But now that with Doctor Strange 2, Spider-Man 3, all of these things are tied in. So they probably have not, as far as I know, I don't think they've come up with a side story for Isaiah. I would love it. I want them to do another like comic run with Isaiah, just starring him. But I mean, it's still, if they keep the same like outcome, it's still going to be depressing as hell. So I don't know, guys. It's just weird. The Young Avengers roster is really stacking up. Yeah, they're doing it. They are doing it. We already have Speed. We have Wiccan. I mean, we have everybody in the main, especially West Coast Avengers. We have everybody in the main group so far. We'll see. Definitely look forward to seeing the Young Avengers live action. Me too. Racism at its finest. I mean, it was all over the place. Like I love Falcon's look. He was like, "These motherfuckers." I'm like, he said, "Mama gonna have to whip somebody's ass today." I'm like, yeah, I was so surprised and delighted to see them include Isaiah Bradley in this. I did not know, obviously, it was coming. So I haven't even looked to see who else is cast in this. So I take it episode by episode. So when I saw that, I was like, what? I'm like, they were the Bradleys. What? And so it's interesting though, because I thought in the comics that Falcon was a big like Isaiah Bradley fan. So it's interesting that Bucky's the one that introduced him to Isaiah. So I thought that was interesting. But again, it's the MCU. They do their own crap. No, I'm supposed to hate John, but we learn more about him. He didn't seem that bad. I still want Sam as Cap, but I don't hate John. I honestly think that eventually Falcon will become Captain America for a stint. And then, of course, when we get into Young Avengers, who knows what's going to happen. But I do think eventually, because what they don't understand is that Sam doesn't feel worthy of it. That's what he's trying to say. How Bucky literally was like, if he was wrong about you, then maybe he was wrong about me. And he's like, boy, I'm having the same issues. If he's wrong about you, maybe he's wrong about me. I got enough self-esteem when it comes to Captain America, too. I was blipped out. Obviously, I wasn't important. I wasn't even here. So yeah, I think that would be they don't understand dealing with the same trauma. They don't know because they weren't taking their couples therapy seriously. My fan cast was Camille McFadden, since he was a good voice in Marvel Riser, but the actor they chose seems cool too. Well, I mean, Isaiah has played Martian Manhunter, so he's a voice actor for him. You can hear it in his voice. So, I mean, a lot of the time you'll have a lot of voice actors like playing live action roles in the series. Like that's why with Lex Luthor, Michael Rosenbaum played the Flash a lot in a lot of the Justice League movies. I don't think he did in the animated series, the old animated series, but I know he was in it. He played Barry Allen in a bunch of like other movies. I think he was in point too. I have to go back and look at the cast list, but yeah. Lex Luthor from Smallville was the Flash. Yeah, being Captain America is a huge burden compounded with being black. Yeah, because they'll put him in jail. They wouldn't put Steve in jail. Got my water of truth, guys. It's hot in here. But yeah, I hope like he'll do something the government doesn't like, and he'll like go out and fight all these people and win all these battles and stuff. And then the government's like, well, retirement now. Now we're going to put you in jail for all the crimes that you committed that we didn't clear you for. I'd be like, motherfucker, like, lost your mind. Yeah, I like how both Sam and Aaron are struggling with confidence and self-worth issues. That's the problem. And they don't even see it in each other, which is so weird. You would think they would, but it's just weird. Sure, I know Carl as Martian Manhunter's dad, though. And then another thing. There's another actor, and I don't think it was in this one. I think it was in WandaVision. I want to say one of the actresses played Big Barda in one of the Justice League cartoon movies. I have to go back and look. But if you look at all the cast and then you look at their voiceover career, like you'd be surprised who plays what. It's really cool. I think I read it. No. Oh, I'm going back to your wonderful turkey strip comment. I clicked wrong, but it was pretty good. I was trying to go here. Doctor Who and Stranger crossover. Cool. Could you see that? Could you see Doctor Who? And pick any doctor. It could be, anyone, old school doctor up to the reinvention of Doctor Who. That's what I call it. Starting with Christopher Eccleston all the way up to Jodie Whittaker. Could you see the Doctor meeting Doctor Strange and introducing, saying, "I'm the Doctor." And then Doctor Strange would be like, "Doctor of what?" By the way, I'm the Doctor. And then they just get into this moral debate. And I don't know who would win because the Time Lord predates most of anybody that you would see in the Avengers. So I don't know. That would be an interesting crossover. I mean, I'm already excited because if you follow the Ruby from Rooster Teeth, they are going to be working with the Justice League. And the first issue comes out the 31st. I've already pre-ordered it. So I will probably be reviewing that comic because I am super, super excited about that. So I would love to see crossover. And I mean, this would not be the first time. There have been issues where, and especially in the IDW, where Wolverine and like literally in the Enterprise, there's a scene where Spock literally Vulcan pinches Wolverine, which is absolutely hilarious. Did you see my musical comment? I don't think so. Can you post it again? I'm sorry. True. I know Carl is Martian Manhunter's dad. I think I already did that one. Sorry, guys. I'm trying. StreamYard makes it very difficult to scroll, so I'm always clicking on stuff. Eventually, but which Marvel character would fit best? Okay, I probably missed the first part. Here we go. If Disney Plus was going to ever adapt an MCU character into a musical, is that what you're asking me? We got sitcoms from WandaVision, which had some songs, and we know how popular Agatha all along was, so I feel like they have to do it. Eventually, but which Marvel character would fit best? You've got lots of options. America Chavez was in a band. Gwen Stacy, Spider-Woman, is in a band called the Mary Janes. So you have a lot of options for that. Apparently, you can have talent and still be a superhero. So if I was going to say one, though, I mean, if you weren't sick of the Spider-Verse, I would probably do Gwen Stacy. Because, I mean, the Mary Janes. And then they could do like a Shawn like Black Sheep from, why did I just go ahead and Scott Pilgrim versus the World. That Shawn Black Sheep was a cool song. So I could see that. I really could see that. So that's the answer to that question right there. Gwen Stacy and the Mary Janes. I guess it's just called the Mary Janes, though. I like the line of Doctor Strange when it went Mr. Doctor Strange, because but who am I to judge? I mean, I literally would love to see Doctor Who meet Doctor Strange. I'm telling you. But they have to close the door. They'll be in there all day debating crap. like, well, I'm in charge of all the dimensions and multiverse, and I keep everyone safe. Oh yeah, well, I've traveled through every time and space. I've seen the end of the universe itself. I'm like, I'm from freaking Gallifrey. You sure about that? Yeah. Not only that, I better not say that, because if you guys haven't been keeping up with the latest stuff, I probably should shut up about the timeless child and all that storyline. So I'll be quiet. But that would be an interesting crossover. Let's see here. I think I already answered that one. I'm doing great, guys. I did like almost the entire recap in like 18 minutes. I'm getting good at this because I like to talk. So like, I am very tired though. I had the doctor's appointment and they took like so many vials of blood. So if I just fall asleep in the middle of the stream, forgive me. I'm like, because it could happen. I'm also working very hard to fix, I know I've been saying this, to fix this freaking Fate Winx Saga freaking video. I mean, the size is driving me in effing sane. It's driving me crazy. This is not my life right now, but it feels that way. I'm literally fighting the size of this damn file, and it is driving me nuts. So that is why I keep telling you, you're going to have it today, and you don't have it today, because when I render it, it is effing huge. It is just huge. And yeah, I mean, it's actually open right now on my computer. So it's proof, guys, because I love you so much. I don't do this for everybody. I do this for everyone. But see, this is my editor for my Fate. And it is not long. You see, it's a 10-minute video. But yeah, this thing is coming out. Like my latest render was over 12 gig. I'm like, what is happening? Only one other video has done this to me since I started my YouTube channel, and it is the Haunting of Bly Manor. I did for Freaky Weekly, which is why we haven't done a Freaky Weekly in a while, is because of that video, which was 22 minutes long, had 4 of us talking about it, and it ended up being, and I'm not exaggerating, it ended up being 130 gig. And no matter what I do, I can't get it to go under 130 gig. I don't care if I compress it to 720. I even tried 480 standard definition just to see what would happen. And that freaking thing still came out to be 100. It was like 129 point whatever gig. I'm like, this is some BS. Something in the codec is messing up. So I need to figure that out. And so it's a headache and it's driving me crazy. So Kevin, you are one. Fate Winx is cursed. So is Maria. Maria is cursed because I really would like to post it so I can delete it from my hard drive. It's coming now. It really is. I'm not giving up on this, guys. It's coming. It's coming. Bane of my existence. Imagine singing and fighting at the same time. I mean, they did that in Buffy, an episode of Buffy. So, I mean, I can see that. I can absolutely see that. You are hardworking. Luck to you. I am. You guys, I am so happy that you literally support me, because you guys keep me making videos and live streams for you, because there are days I tell you, I get up and I'm like, not today, Satan. Like, when I was getting up at 5 a.m. for those Yashahime videos on a Saturday, you don't know my struggle. I was like praying. I was praying to everybody's God. I'm like, please, this bed, please. I was like, Jesus. I was literally watching it on my tablet, my Fire tablet for Hulu. I'm like, okay, I watched the episode, but damn, now I got to go and record it. I got to record the review. Woo! And that was before I was doing live streams for it. When I moved it to live stream at 9, my life got so much easier. So much easier. But I still have Yashahime is on break until season 2, but I still have Ruby and I still have Power Rangers Dino Fury. And this Wednesday, I believe, I will have my Godzilla versus Kong, or Kong versus Godzilla, however you want to look at it, whoever you support. Got to do that one. I have a list of reviews I have to do. Like, it's insane. Absolutely insane. And I got about 9 videos I'm editing simultaneously. So it's like, I'm tired. I am tired, but I love it. I did this to myself, so I can't complain. I can't complain because if I didn't love doing it, I wouldn't have this channel. So there's that. But I'm not going to lie to you. It's tiring. It is tiring. They also had singing ups in Xena Warrior Princess too. They did, but Xena's my girl. She is literally the second character that told me I was queer. Like, the dreams I had about Xena. Have you watched Secrets of Sulphur Spring? I watched half of the first episode with my spouse, but my spouse works in a nonprofit as well, and unfortunately is salary and on call, so we'll be in the middle of something and then has to go jump in a Zoom chat, and sometimes it's 9 or 10 o'clock at night. That is the nature when you got to make that money. It is what it is. Will you be reviewing Supergirl? Do you want me to review Supergirl, Kevin? I will watch Supergirl for you. I'm going to be real with you. I stopped watching Supergirl in season 2. So I know of Dreamer because I'm a trans supporter. But I have not been following Supergirl at all. But since this is the last season, I can. I don't know, like, I'm like, this will all be for love, Kevin. Have you liked what you have seen so far? Yeah, it's cute. I like Nickelodeon shows too. I like anything with like kind of like a mystery type thing. That's why Nancy Drew is ticking me off a lot right now. A lot. A lot. It's the final season. Okay, Kevin, you talked me into it. I will add her to my list. I'm not even Catholic. I'm like, fine. Oh, that's right. Godzilla versus Kong is soon. Yes, it is. Hello, Fandom Theory. I love her icon. I love Kong. I love Godzilla movies. So, if you saw my trailer, you saw I was freaking out. So I am extremely excited. I also, if you have not seen my Suicide Squad 2 trailer review today, or reaction, that all my reactions are true. I never watch it until I start recording. So if I F up like on a reaction, it's live. It's just live. Man, I saw King Shark. I lost my effing mind. I was like, what? That is the King Shark that I miss. He's not that CGI mess we have on the Flash, and I get it. They don't have the budget that James Gunn has. But oh my gosh, guys, when I saw the brutality, yes, I'm using a Mortal Kombat reference for King Shark because King Shark should be fighting Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat now. I want to see this. But when I saw him and what he did to that dude, not the first dude, but I think the time code is 217. I was like, oh, no. I got to watch this movie. That is effing cool. That movie looks really effing cool. So I really hope that goes to HBO Max because I really, really want to see that. The reason Brainy and Dreamy broke up is because he pushed her away to protect her. They'll probably get back together this season. I didn't know they were broken up, so season 2 was when I stopped watching. No problem. I really think it's adorable little icon. I'm an anime fan. I like all the cutesy things. I'm gonna have an unboxing too, guys. Just to throw it in. I know we're still talking about MCU, but we get all over the place. But I bought a bunch of stuff from Japan because my boy Joe's Geek Show is over there because his wife's in the military and they're stationed there, I think, for 3 or 4 years. And what I buy for like $8 in Japan would be like 60 to 100 here. So I sent money and cleaned house. I got all kinds of stuff. I got a Gokaiger changer. I got a Maji staff. My daughter got a Chocobo alarm clock. I got a bunch of, if you're into like old school Precure, like Precure and Precure Max Heart, they have like the 15th anniversary dolls, and you will see that on my, you'll see it in my background because like Right now I have a bunch of Funko dolls, but this is my Misaka from Railgun. I got Naharu. I got a new Asagi. She's adorable, and she's got her head is a lot bigger. It's a lot bigger than the rest of her body, but she's so effing cute. I really, really like her. She's adorable. Neptune was right there. I know you probably can't see the background. One day I'm just going to do like a video where we just go around my room because you don't see all the toys over here, but I have a lot of crap. So I'll have a lot of stuff to unbox when it gets here from Japan. So I am that person, guys. I am that person. And the Flash look great for their budget. Yes. But after seeing this, I'm like, there's no going back. It's not going back. Not going back. Oh, yeah. I'm going to do that video, fandom. I'm going to do all my anime, Super Sentai. Like, I have all kinds of stuff. I got an Elsa doll over there. After I saw Raya and the Last Dragon, I had to get Noi. I lost my mind. Got to get the baby. But yeah, there's a bunch. I have, when I have a ton of stuff, I mean, it's like, you can't see it, but it's like all over there. I got stuff in the hallway. I got stuff in the closets. I'm crazy. Just crazy. Let's see. Okay, which was caused by a version of himself from another Earth who failed to prevent Lex from destroying her world. So she told him to go undercover and not tell anyone that's the only way to win. Oh, so that's why. Okay, so what you're telling me now is Arrowverse is recycling plot. So Supergirl has a version of Earth that was destroyed, and now we've got Captain Luthor and Superman and Lois because his Earth was destroyed. So I see what's happening now. Cool. I mean, very enthusiastic. Let's see here. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, so back to, because I got to do it. I got to bring us back to Falcon, and I got to bring us back to Winter Soldier. Our favorite bromance couple. What do you think? What do you think is going to make Sam take that shield? I really want to know. Almost burned dinner, but just saved it in time. Kevin, the turkey bacon doesn't take long. You can't just walk away. I'm still here. But now, what do you think is going to make him decide to finally get that shield? Because right now, Sam is not doing that. He is not in a place to do it. He can't. He can't just. It would be like if you look at the old school campy version, Adam West version of Batman, it would be like, Robin saying, I could be Batman. We all know he can't. Like, he can't. You can't deliver lines like, holy smokes, Batman, and just run around with the shark repellent and think that you're Batman. So it is like, and we hear it all the time in Batwoman, the suit. It's the suit basically comes with history, comes with, in the superhero world, respect. You can't put it on and be Batman. You can't just put it on and be Batwoman. You just can't put it on and be a superhero. And I think that is what's bothering Sam, even though Sam was a hero in his own right. Falcon is badass. He feels like, even though he is Falcon, he is not Steve. So it's not, he can't be Captain America. He can't be Steve's Captain America. But what he should be saying is, I'm not Isaiah. I'm like, because Isaiah would have whooped Steve's ass. I'm like, drops mic. just put it out there. Just putting it out there. Supergirl was different, and also it was Crisis. A lot of Earths were destroyed. The context is different. Crisis was a crisis all in itself. But don't get me started on that. Don't get me started on that. Sam might see how he can be an inspiration for good. I would love that. I would love for. Okay, so I kind of feel like in a way Sam does think on some level that even he does things that are inspirational for good. Because when he went to the bank with his sister, he's like, don't you know I'm an Avenger. We fought Thanos. We saved the world. I know he takes pride in that. And remember, Sam and Bucky, they were both soldiers. They were both military. I mean, I'm pretty sure Sam and Steve met. And I think it was like a PTSD type meeting or something like that for veterans. So, I mean, I've always known that Sam had issues. I'm gonna have to go back and watch Captain America 2 because I can't remember exactly if that's what it was, but I'm pretty sure it was something like that. It was like, basically veterans with PTSD, and he was, either a counselor or he was helping whatever, but he himself was a soldier. And he's a vet, basically. So there's a lot to Sam that we haven't even scratched the surface of. Like, we don't know all the stuff that's in his psyche. We only know what he told Steve, because basically it's a movie about Steve. And at the time, Sam was just a side character that we knew would be Falcon. Now Falcon is a main player. So now we get to dive into his brain and just see things from how he sees them prospectively. And it's interesting. Like, we know his parents died. We know his sister and him, disagree over trying to keep this business. Technically, she wants to keep the business, but she's burned out. And, she feels like he was off playing, superhero, and his real family was left behind to pick up the pieces. And then he blipped out for, I think it was 5 years they were gone, 5 years. I can't remember. So I feel like he has a lot of guilt. He has a lot of issues comparing himself to Steve. And he also, the loss of his friend, because he bonded with Steve, and Steve didn't even tell him he was leaving. He told Bucky, he didn't tell him he was not coming back. He just found out when it didn't happen. When he came back old, it's like, oh, well, damn, so there's a lot to that. On some level, they may reveal that Sam is even angry at Steve for not telling him that he wasn't planning on coming back and for planning to give him that shield. So yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to that. Let's see. I think it will take someone he cares for getting hurt, he becomes his version of Captain America. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm hoping they don't kill his sister or one of his nephews. That will be effed up. That will, if they touch the kids, I might come in there too. They don't want Captain Maria, because Captain Maria will bear everybody ass in there. Sam was a counselor, and they met working out. That's what it was. And they used to run against each other, and it was kind of hilarious. Sam just didn't know. So you remember those runs that he would. So yeah. So like I said, Sam, we have not scratched the surface of everything that's wrong with Sam. So normally the best counselors that have come from trauma themselves, because that's how they deal with it. Just like I don't drink, but if I was an alcoholic, I would prefer to have somebody who was an alcoholic to tell me, how to deal with it. Because I don't think you're ever cured when you're an addict, but at least telling you how to go day by day by day and dealing with all that. Same with veterans. If I was going to be a counselor for a veteran in the war, and they're like, "Well, you were in the war?" I'm like, "Well, no, but my daddy was." I'm like, "Girl, go home." Video games don't count. So Sam has to have been in a position to relate to these people for them even to entertain the idea of him helping them. So Sam, being the counselor, probably even dealing with his own PTSD, yeah, he's not going to be like, "I got the shield, I'm Captain America." That's not how that works. And for Bucky to say that to him, knowing good and well if Steve had given Bucky the shield, like a lot of people wanted, he would have been like, "Oh, hell no, you don't know who I am. I'm crazy." I killed people. So I could see that. I literally could see that. So there's so many avenues to that I just feel like, I agree with Sam. He is not ready yet. I think this series makes him ready. But then what's going to happen with John? So that's going to be interesting. Guilt and finding the path you want to take seems to be the two big character themes in the show. I agree with that. That's pretty much the theme in everybody's series in MCU. Everybody's finding themselves. Everybody had such existential crises in their, in all of the movies that we've seen so far. So it caused the biggest rift in the fan community came between Tony Stark and Steve Rogers, Captain America and Iron Man. I'm not a big fan of Steve Rogers in the MCU, but I like Captain America in the comics. I am not a big fan of Iron Man in the comics, but I didn't mind, Iron Man in the MCU, because yes, he was an A. He could be a jerk, but at least I knew what he was trying to do. This is a scared man who did not want his world invaded. When the first Avengers movie happened, it messed with him, because he realized how unprepared that world was to be attacked and invaded. And he was right. He was right. But everybody was like, "No, he's a dick, blah, 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 blah." And then you had Steve, and I know I'm going to get hate for this, who was like, I'm the man that jumps on the bullet. I'm the man that everybody goes to. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. But then when Bucky was in trouble and he was being framed for murder, you dumped all your friends. They all ended up in jail, to save Bucky. You literally ripped out the chess piece from Iron Man. And I'm hoping like hell to this day that he knew that it was no longer attached to Tony's heart, because I don't know if he knew that or not. He knew that Bucky was the one that killed his parents and never told him. And I get it. You can play your area, but for somebody who says they never lie, you didn't volunteer information, that's a lie. And then he went and lived his best life after Endgame. He got to go back, get the woman, live out his best life, while the guy who was the a-hole that would never jump on the bomb for anyone literally made the snap, gave up his wife, his daughter, and his life to save everybody. And this is the person that everybody hates. So again, I am not going to say that Tony Stark is not arrogant, egotistical, and can be an a-hole, but I mean, he made the ultimate sacrifice. And Captain America, even though we were still dealing with all the events from Civil War and, them, fighting over who was going to register, and blah, 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 he left all of his friends with all of the issues that are still happening to go back in time and live his best life. I'm sorry. That don't fly with me. So that's why I don't like Steve in the I don't like him. I think he's a hypocrite, and that's where I stand on that. And I know when I say that, people come for me, but you guys know me. I don't care. So I'm not one of those. I don't care. Trolls be trolls. I don't give a flying. One day I'm going to do a segment in my videos where people are going to say problematic stuff, and I'm going to spotlight it, because there was one that really cracked me up. That he said something along the lines of, what did he say? He said that I was purposely looking for stuff to nitpick, and that I was, unreasonable as a reviewer, and he didn't understand how I could be reviewing stuff. And I said, well, I don't understand why you wrote this comment. So I said something along the lines of, how about we just be confused about each other in silence? Because that is my response. I am a smart ass. I don't care. I'm never going to be triggered by toxicity of imaginary characters. Even Steve Rogers is in America. He's an American hero and American, whatever. But at the same time, he's imaginary. He is imaginary. I like to ask people, name a soldier in real life that you respect, or name a doctor in real life that you respect. Name a character that's real, that's actually a person that was made or inspired a comic book character that you respect. And 9 times out of 10, they can't tell you the whole damn history of, Spot, or just randomly throwing people out there like Nick Gallen from the Galleon Warriors. Oh, that's comic. Could tell you the whole thing backwards and forwards, and couldn't even tell you the name of the person who, pretty much invented or came up with penicillin. So just saying, ain't got time for that. I'm sorry work is kicking your butt. Welcome to the stream. We were talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier, and how they have the most wonderful bromance, and the couples therapy didn't work, but hopefully it will someday, because that's the real point of the series, getting the couple together. Did you watch, or did you are you just coming in and stopping to say hi? Because I know sometimes you do that, And you are not super late. You were fine. We run for a little while. I'm probably going to stop at like a little bit past an hour. We're at 58 minutes? Yeah. Because, I like people to have their Fridays. I noticed that fans are going a bit too crazy with the anticipation of X-Men lead. Yeah. Because I feel like, okay, I get it. I love the X-Men, and what Bryan Singer did to the X-Men in the X-Men movies, specifically the women, really irritates me. I didn't have a problem with, is it Famke Janssen? I can't remember how to say her name. I'm sorry, I'm bad with names. But Jean Grey's actress, I didn't care that he cast her. She wasn't a bad representation of Jean Grey. I hated what he wrote for her. Her Phoenix saga sucked. It sucked. Phoenix was never a split personality. I'm not going to discuss what he did to Psylocke at all. The fact that he didn't even know Psylocke's backstory tells me, he should have never had that in his life. Rogue was useless, even though I love Anna Paquin, I think. I love her. She was great on True Blood, but she was not Rogue. Don't get me started on Aurora. It's just so much. There's so much wrong with his movies. So I'm excited because we're going to have a reinvention, hopefully in a good way, into the MCU. I have faith that Kevin is not going to F them up like Bryan Singer, because Bryan Singer is the only person that can be credited on Earth of not only effing up a Marvel property, but a DC property too, because his Superman Returns movie was absolute garbage. The only thing that I liked about it was Brandon Routh. Because he was a good Clark and Superman. It was trash. It was stupid. It made no sense whatsoever, and that's why he didn't get a sequel. And then when he was interviewed by people saying, "Well, what happened?" He said, "Well, I wrote a Superman movie for women, and they didn't go to see it." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "No, sir, you just trash." And then when people get on him, he's like, "Well, they're just messing with me because I'm gay. I'm queer. I'm messing with you because you suck." I'm like, oh, Lordy. Have you read the recent Excalibur, Maria Quantum, and Betsy Bury the Axe? I'm wondering how you feel about it. So I heard, and I need to read it. Not only do I need to read this, I need to do a video on that, because you know how I feel about the situation. If you don't, go watch myself. But I did know that they had the conversation, and I don't know how it went. But I am excited to read that. I've got that on my list. I pre-ordered the Ruby Justice League crossover that's coming out on the 31st. And I am going to talk about that. So there are a lot of comic books that I need to do. I'm just trying to figure out the scope and when I'm going to do it. So I've got schedules. I need to figure that out. But wait, what? Betsy and Excalibur Weeks of White Feminism. Oh, it's entitlement to the extreme. So, I mean... Absolutely. I mean, it was wrong to begin with. So that entire storyline has always been racially problematic. But yeah, I'm excited to read it. Hopefully I won't get mad, but I'm excited to read it. The MCU shows are probably not going to introduce anything about the X-Men, in my opinion. MCU tends to take their time with introducing their heroes. This is true. They have to do something with the Fantastic Four. They have to. I'm still holding out for the Illuminati, though, because if we're doing Secret Invasion, you have to have the Illuminati, and that includes Beast and Professor X as two of the main players. So, and since we saw Sentry's belt in WandaVision, and I know Sentry is in the Illuminati, and so is Doctor Strange, then I can see Xavier and I can see Reed Richards, all of them. I can see all of them together, in the Illuminati, as the ultimate backup plan for what happens in Secret Invasion. So I don't know. Are we going to get the Illuminati? Probably not. But does it look like they're building to that? Yep. So we got Young Avengers, potentially the Illuminati. There's so many things they're doing right now that tells me that they're following very closely to canon storylines, but they're just doing it in their own way. So, and I'm okay with that. I'm still not convinced that we're not still getting House of M. So she's got the Darkhold. She's living her best life memorizing that book. And, she did cause a reality shift to get her boys. She's going to get her boys back, and it's just going to be in reverse order, but it's going to be probably the same. And then when Agatha said, "You don't know what you've released," I mean, Mephisto could be who she actually set free. So there's a lot. There is a lot, I think, happening in terms of plans, but I think the MCU plans are probably 5 or 10 years down the road. So we're going to get a lot. I mean, the Atlas Foundation. Why are you building up Jimmy if you're not going to? You even say leadership looks good on you, Jimmy. He's the leader of the Atlas Foundation. So it's like, of course you're setting it up. So they're setting up a lot of stuff in the MCU, and it's exciting. It is exciting. I've forgotten so many storylines from comics, and then I'll see something, and I'm like, oh my God. And then this, and then that. So there's so many. Like, I'm still holding out for Pathfinder being in it. So there's so many storylines the MCU can do. And DCEU can do the exact same thing, but they're not. The Snyder Cut was a step technically in the right direction, except we're not going in that direction. So it's like we saw this, and we saw what potentially could have happened. And then that's it. And now we're going with whatever the hell they're trying to do. Though Suicide Squad 2 looks good. Just saying. Looks good. I'm definitely hoping that we get some kind of nod for X-Men, but I'm not going to hope too much. Chances are pretty low aside from Illuminati. I mean, but we've established though, I guess we really haven't, because, you know, it turned out Evan Peters was not Quicksilver. I mean, but we really don't know that because he was under an alias, because I'm pretty sure he was in witness protection. So, and having the speedster's abilities, I don't know if Agatha gave him that or if those were actually his. So there's a lot. They have a lot of vagueness in the MCU. So until like further down the line when we see them, we really don't know. I would hate to be a writer for the MCU movies because they have to give up, you know, they have to establish Easter eggs. And sometimes I feel like these Easter eggs are to throw us off from what's really going on. But the Easter eggs are things that are actually canon to the comics. So it's like, and they go another direction. You're like, then is that coming back in the future? Are we going to see that again? I'm like, you know, Senor Scratchy, you know, being Nicholas Scratch. Never really put it up. We never even heard that she had a son. You know, there's so much. And, you know, he was a big Fantastic Four villain. So there's so much that they could be doing in the MCU that we don't even know about that's plotted and having outlines. He could have outlines all the way to like 2035. We have no idea. So, yeah. It was Ralph Bonner Bewitched. Did I miss something? Agnes gave him that. He was Ralph. Oh, no, yeah. I got that. What I mean by that was the Easter egg by having McScratchy be the last name and then knowing her son was Nicholas Scratch. It's just they do that to throw you off. But then you have to ask yourself, but did they? Or is this a little nugget of something we're going to see later on? Like even with you know, Sue and Reed's son being the one that you know separated Mephisto's son or soul shards. You had the kid missing on the milk carton. And I feel like they don't ever do anything just to do it, just to have a placement holder so we can have something in the scene. There's no purpose having that milk carton with the missing boy with the blonde hair that looked very close to the freaking character, you know, if you weren't going to use it. Or like Akanya, when you had, you know, Phil Jones there. This is a freaking, she has power. She literally is, she's not a reality shifter, but she can manipulate parts of reality that somebody else created. And, you know, to have her in there and have a woman with blonde hair that looks just like her and then not use her. It's like all these Easter eggs they keep using. And I'm just like, wow, these are actually canon. And it's like, I can see it. You know, Phil was a real person. It's just crazy to me. It's crazy. The rabbit was epic, though, as a stand-in for her cat. For Ebony, yeah, I mean, the way this Agatha's going, she probably devoured Ebony a long time ago. I mean, it's how she knew everything because she already had divination from him. So I can't remember, was Ebony a boy or a girl? It's been a minute. Huh. Okay. Let's see. Let me go back here. Not to be off topic as a Quantum fan, I thought it was pretty decent resolution that makes Quantum look amazing, but Betsy doesn't look her best in Excalibur, not going to lie. But Betsy has always had issues. You know she needs therapy. She was anorexic. She was anorexic or I think she was bulimic. I know she's making herself throw up because she thought she was fat. And then when when they switched bodies, she was like, this is the first time I've ever loved my body. That is messed up. You know, that's really messed up. But then if I learned that my father only created me because he was trying to find basically Captain Britain to carry on the lineage from his world where he's from. And I just happened to be an accident because they were twins. And Brian ended up getting all the power and you were just kind of like the expendable one, like Jamie. Jamie was like a reject. I probably would go crazy because look how crazy Jamie went. So she had a lot of trauma to begin with because her father was kind of an a-hole. I mean, he literally was only with their mother to procreate. So, I mean, I get that. Yeah, that was a big reveal in Extremis. Yeah, I think, like I said, Betsy has problems and she needs to go to the same therapist, maybe after Falcon and Bucky have their couples therapy, go talk to her too. But like, let me talk about my family and how they don't love me and how I wasn't even supposed to be here. I have no purpose in life. Wow. Like, oh, and I used to be Japanese. All right, get her some medicine. I'm like, That therapy session when Betsy broke down what happened would be hilarious. See, Betsy does go crazy in Excalibur. She goes crazy in a lot of stuff. I mean, if Betsy Braddock didn't go crazy at some point, then you should worry. If she's not body snatched, attempted and have somebody attempt to kill her, have her eyes ripped out and turned into cameras, and like the list just goes on, then something is wrong. But you know, her being sane, I worry about a sane, stable Betsy Braddock. Being crazy and losing her crap, completely par for the course. That's who she is. It's not about how many times it's done. It's how it stands out that matters. It's not recycled because of the context and how it's handled. And you must be talking about Supergirl. There's a big thing though about Arrowverse and the CW as a whole. They do recycle stories. They may change it up a little bit, but they recycle it. I mean, I've given so many examples. Another example, if you remember Roswell, New Mexico, there's a scene where Max, the character, forgets Liz and like kind of goes a little cuckoo. And that aired 2 weeks after Charmed, when Harry forgot Macy. I'm like, all right. And you can literally just watch it. Just if you really take notes on plots and then start comparing, you'd be surprised how many of them are the same, just organized differently with different characters. So yeah, that's what they do. Okay, I'm not even a Sherry. Not with Sherry as the next Black Panther. Oh, you mean Shuri? Yeah, a lot of people were upset with some of the comments she made on her Twitter account. So I know a lot of people are like, nah, sure. I wonder how they're going to do the new Black Panther movie. I haven't been following any of the news. So I need to do that. So when you review a lot of stuff, sometimes it takes away from all the revelations that happen online. Basically, I need a day to be able to go over this. That's why we haven't had a newscast in a long time on the channel, is because I need a day. I need a break in my schedule in my day to actually accomplish that. So, but someday, I'm going to take a break and have a date with my spouse because right now, when I watch stuff to review. I'm taking notes. I don't actually sit back and relax because I want to make sure I get everything accurate as possible. And it's impossible to do that. But I review things. I watch things now to review them, not so much to enjoy them. If I enjoy it, it's a side effect and then I'm happy. If I don't like something, 9 times out of 10, I won't review it. Or if it's something that like a series and it's an episode I don't like, you guys will see it. You know, I'll nitpick the hell out of it. But that's what happens. So like I've had a lot of people say, have you seen the news on this or the spoilers on this? I'm trying to tell you guys, no. I'm going to tell you right now, I have not. So if there is something you think I should know, you might as well just post it because Maria has not seen it yet at all. Maria's happy if she remembers to eat lunch. So I'm old. And now she's dead in the comics too. She was my favorite member of the Black Order. Wait, who died? Who died? What? I think it shows, but the biggest regret I have with them is the Supergirl wasn't included in the story. She was only in Black Order. Oh, okay. Okay. Supergirl's died a lot. Like I'm just saying. She died in Crisis. She died in Injustice. She's a lot. There's a lot of storylines. She got shot when she was working for Lex. But I think she almost died because she got shot with a kryptonite bullet. Like what's happening to Ryan Wilder is what actually happened to Kara when she was not only working for him, she was having a thing with Lex, which was gross. But yeah, that's an older one. It'd be cool if they can bring Killmonger back and have him be the new Black Panther. I'd be for that, or a possible recast for Shuri. You never know. You never know. I'm off Twitter, so I get missing out on stuff. I don't really get on Twitter a lot. People keep saying, oh, you have one. I have an Approach the Nerd Twitter account. I don't think to ever update it. Like occasionally I will do my Instagram. I make posts on Facebook, but I promise you, I don't think about Twitter. And I mean, there's a lot of toxicity out there on the interwebs. I mean, you're going to have it on here. I mean, I'm going to get hate if somebody gets butthurt about what I just said about, Captain America earlier in this stream. I will get it because it's what happens. If I really wanted to test the waters, I would say something about Sashomaru and Rin. I don't have an opinion on it, but if I said something to the negative about it, I would get blamed. And don't get me started about it. So I can't say anything about it, even though, again, I'm scared. it's just things that I've seen get attacked for. I've seen people get attacked in my comments for making comments, which I don't tolerate. If I start seeing people attacking each other, I will step in and I will say some shit, and I don't care. So, but that's how people are. They're just there are beautiful people out there, and then there are people that are just, they have no lives, and all they do is get angry about stuff, and that's literally what they do. If they cannot find something to be passive aggressive or angry about, they're not living their best life. So it's sad. So I feel like Twitter is like a big hub of that. Harassment on Twitter is quite excessive. Yeah, I believe it. I believe people get canceled left and right. And it's weird. I've never had a Twitter account, and you're probably better for it. I did that one. I think I did this. Okay, yeah, they better find a way to retcon Michael B as Black Panther in the new timeline. I mean, they could. Because technically, we haven't seen what happened with Wakanda after everybody was snapped back. So there's a lot of potential. I mean, what they'll probably do is maybe T'Challa never came back after everybody came back. Maybe for some reason he just stayed missing or gone. I don't know. Let me tell you about this Shuma Rin thing. People tried to talk about why they don't like it, and they got hate. We had to make a private Discord to theorize about the show. Wow, really? So I see both sides because I try to be objective. You'll hear me say that a lot. It does not make me wishy-washy. It doesn't mean, oh my God, you're playing passive. No, I'm not being passive. I'm not being wishy-washy. But see, what people don't understand is this is a Japanese series. In the Japanese series, based in the feudal era. Well, in the feudal era, and you can research this, they were marrying kids off at 10, 11 years old. There are studies that I did when I was taking Japanese. We had to take history classes where they would have monks that would come to different houses. And as blessings, they would offer food, whatever wine they had, and their children. And you can take that as what you want. That was something that actually happened historically in these Japanese villages. So Sesshomaru being, 250 years old, I believe he is, and her being, 8 to 10 years old when he was first interested in her, in a Western gaze, the way we would look at that, it is pedophilia. The way they look at that back then in Japan, that was the way of life. So you're looking at history. In Kagome's era, in the modern era, that didn't happen. You never saw this whole age thing. There was nobody walking around. There wasn't a 60-year-old out with a 13-year-old. It was only a feudal era. So historically, it's accurate. Now you have to separate your mind as a Westerner from something that happens in a culture that is not yours. There are tons of things that happen in other cultures to be mad about, like genital mutilation in Africa. That's pretty effing disgusting, but they still do it. So yeah. With gold undertones. You talking about my skin? I know I'm yellow. I'm just joking. Killmonger's BP costume is very close to the original. I agree with that. I really like Michael as Killmonger. I enjoyed his performance immensely. So any way that they bring him back would be cool to me. And they will. They will. He will be back in the MCU. Come on. Let's see. Try and make sure I did not miss anything. I think I didn't. I don't know. My eyes are like, it's over there and I'm old. I'm like, it's my running joke. I know I'm only 44. I'm almost 45, but my eyes aren't 21 anymore. So just gotta let it go. Cooking is done just in time too. Good job, Kevin. I'm proud of you. Make sure you make some for everybody. Except I don't eat meat, so you don't have to give me any turkey bacon. Let's see. His anger was palatable and relatable. I agree. I mean, it is an effed up situation, especially to see as a child. So having a child bride, are these things okay now? Would we say, oh, men and these little girls, that was okay in the West at the time, but it's not, it's now problematic. Exactly. Like if this was happening today, it would be a conversation because modern time, if this was happening even in Japan today, I mean, I don't know what the age of consent is right now in Japan. But I know what it is here. So over here, it would be really problematic. But then, we have these movies where people are like hundreds and hundreds of years old. Like even movies like Kate and Leopold, if you really think about how much older Hugh Jackman's, I think it was Hugh Jackman's character was from Meg Ryan, I believe. If I'm getting there, I'm pretty sure those were the actors in that movie. It's problematic. Problematic. Like Inuyasha was older than Kagome by a lot. But he looked like he was about 17, so it worked, So yeah. My eyesight started fading at 12. See, I never had it, I was doing good. When I hit 40, everything blurry up close. Now everything tiny is harder for me from a distance. I mean, I still can see really well. So I think I'm called nearsighted if you're blurry from a distance. I mean, no, I'm farsighted because I'm blurry close. So confusing. So I feel dyslexic when I talk about eyesight. But everything here and outwards, like gets kind of blurry. All right, kind of less blurry, and everything here in this way is blurry. I have a book and I'm reading it. Here it's just very bad. The only exception is if the text is very small. Like I have a big monitor, so if the text is small and I don't up the font size, I can't read it very well. And I can't do this in StreamYard because it's a predetermined font size in the chat. So it's just like, unless I make my monitor make it huge, like, meaning everybody has a box this big with text. Take me forever to scroll through. I can't see what I'm doing. I'm not farsighted yet, nearsighted for sure. See, yeah, and River's the opposite from me. So River can't see from a distance and can see up close. So it's interesting. If it was okay, then I'd probably still have the same psychological impacts in the whole power differential. Are you talking about the age difference and things like that? Yeah. Like I said, you can get away with a lot of stuff in anime that you cannot get away with in real life. So, I mean, I've learned to just understand the reality versus fantasy because there is a distinct difference. But some people can't separate that. So they get in their feelings and they lose their mind. So I used to team Charles, but I can so relate to Magneto now. Yeah, I mean, I've always understood Holocaust was a mess. So I've always understood what stemmed psychosis, sociopathness, if that's what we're calling it. But again, you're supposed to work through your trauma, not create trauma for other people. So there's a difference. Don't take your shit out on others. That's literally the motto you should go with. I just wish people would respect CPS survivors being uncomfortable with the show because the shippers created a block list and sent and hate to people who didn't like the ship. It got bad, both sides. Yeah, I'm telling you, I apologize to anybody who gets a lot of hate, especially from imaginary, I'm going to say it, shit, because I keep saying this. There are so many people out there that have nothing better to do than to talk crap about people. And it's sad because you're basing this off of imaginary stuff. We have so much crap going on in our world. We have systemic racism. We have homelessness. We have global warming. We have our freaking environment falling apart. On an individual state level, there's so much in the closet and out of the closet hate. It is ridiculous. You have every kind of phobia out there, but you want to yell at me over an anime, a video game, or comic character. So that's where my tolerance for idiocracy goes out the wayward. I'm allergic to bullshit, guys. I have an anti-bullshit policy. So when you see some of my comments, they may come off as a little snarky, and they are, because I'm not angry. I am amazed, intrigued, and flabbergasted at some of the comments that people will write based on opinions that are not yours, because everybody has an opinion, because you have to make somebody feel bad for not liking your canon or your ship or your perspective. That is bullshit. I didn't tolerate that crap when I was younger. And in my 40s, I definitely don't tolerate it. I don't give a damn. I don't care if you get mad at me. I really don't. At the end of the day, if you're not paying my rent and my bills and doing anything to benefit my life off of this, then what's the point to you getting upset? What does that really mean to me? You don't matter. So work on yourself. You may be a good person deep down. Find a hobby outside of the ones that make you this angry, because obviously you do not need to be in these fandoms if it is making your blood pressure this bad. That's what I'm putting out there, because they cray. They take it personal when I lump Asian Betsy with yellow fever, but that's pretty much the marketing purpose. It was that. I mean, whoever takes that personally, it just doesn't understand anything. That is the yell culture appropriation. That is the epiphany. I mean, if you look at what happened, they put a white British woman in a Japanese woman's body without the Japanese woman's consent. And they carried this on for decades. And it wasn't until people started coming out talking about racial diversity and culture appropriation that they decided to undo this mess. But that should have never been a mess that happened in the first damn place. Quanon should have been a character all along. Betsy should have been built up in her own right. Two separate women. You don't raise up another woman in another woman's body, especially, I mean, it's so, the message is so damn problematic. It's not even, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. No. Mm-mm. Nope. I'm here for sarcastic comments. You came to the right place, Kevin. I got tons of them. I love how the reality is who the average writer is, and it's a certain type of guy population. We need more female and queer writers, is all Lord saying. Laugh a lot of the Sailor Scout, you soldier years. I will tell you this, as much as I love Sailor Moon, those outfits are problematic as hell. Like, think about this. You've got this ancient Moon Kingdom civilization, and you mean to tell me that they get all this immense power, and all that power is demonstrated in a damn miniskirt? I'm like, no. No, absolutely not. I don't think one ever had a problem with the Sagi and Mamoru's age difference, because they definitely had one, because he was sure as hell macking on a 13-year-old. I'm just saying, throwing it out there. We need more of your rants, Maria. Trust me, you get them all the time. I always rant all the time. Like, some you guys will say something, and then I will rant. I'm like, I did start a YouTube group. I have a new YouTube channel with Quarter Life Jam, where you guys will get your wish, because we will talk about everything from nerd stuff to reality to life. It's going to be called Shiz Talkers, SHIZ Talkers, or Shiz Talk. No, it's Shiz Talkers. We just did it today. So when that stuff is all up and running and we start doing podcasts on there, check it out. You'll get the realness. Trust me. The therapeutic level is so true. The mini skirts. I mean, it's messy. There's no reason to have those damn. How are those uniforms? Like, when they were thinking about this, how are they strategically helpful in a battle? I mean, what told them they're wearing a white leotard with a mini skirt? I mean, why even bother wearing the mini skirt? What's the point? There's no point. Just wear the bathing suit. I mean, Psylocke did. Like, so many X-Men characters, actually a lot of comic book characters, just had, they look like they were all going to aerobics class. That's basically how it look. So, no. Mm-mm. Okay, you should check out Zodiac Star Force. Very Sailor Moon inspired, and they wear practical shorts. I will make sure to post that, because this is going to go away. Put that recommendation down there so I'll remember that name, because that's funny. I'm going to catch up on QLG's content. I've been only able to keep up with your channel and Joe's Geek Show. Work has been hell. I understand. Work has been hell for me too. I work in fundraising for a nonprofit, the National Kidney Foundation, and it is so much stress, because fundraising usually equates to live events, and it's COVID, so we can't have live events. So everything's virtual, and it is a new wheelhouse, and my boss is pretty old and doesn't get technology. So I'm going crazy, like crazy. My hair is going to fall out. It's going to be amazing. So I get it. I understand. I'm a nerd, but this nerd in the basement's running this level out. We have levels left. Okay, so being a nerd is cool. Being a nerd is cool. Being toxically insane is not. It's not. And then there is the upskirt shots. So when I used to watch live action Sailor Moon, Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, I used to have the same exact thoughts. I'm like, they're spinning around like ballet foo, and you just see like shots of their butt. There are parts where Mars would bend over and you could see like parts of her butt in general, and I thought that was really interesting. But whatever. Let me see. Aren't you glad you're spending so much time with me today, guys? Like in every review, I always wonder with live streams, or people are like, oh my God, here we go. Because I'll do like the first like 30 to 45 minutes will be the actual subject. And then we go crazy. This is why when I do my membership, like you saying this, I am going to have one of the perks of being a member. I think one of the cheapest levels, I think is like 99 cents a month or something like that. But one of the cheapest perks is going to be the Real Talk live streams that we do, where we just get in there and people will just say stuff, and then we will just be in there for like an hour and a half to 2 hours talking mad smack because it will not be published for everybody, so we can get away with it. It's harder with the algorithm here because sometimes when you say things, it kind of looks for things to demonetize me for, and I'm like, it is what it is. Obviously, I've been taking it seriously, but I just think it's funny. It's funny that it's the real world, and people, and I hate that you can have like videos online with people abusing animals and being hateful and all that stuff, but yet you say like a curse word and you're like, violence. You cannot use the word queer on anybody's channel. I'm telling you this now. If you've ever written a comment on my YouTube channel with the word queer, YouTube automatically deletes it. It never even makes it to me. So, and I know this because I actually wrote it myself to test it. And it even blocked me on my own channel from writing the word queer. So queer is a bad word, according to YouTube's algorithm, which is problematic as hell. When people criticize the whitewashing, homophobia, transphobia relationship in Yashahime, people were not happy. Non-shippers have gone too far and have seen people I know go too far with it. Yeah, there are channels out there that just think everything is too woke. And I, my opinion on that. If you don't like being woke, stay asleep. And if you're asleep, you can't talk. So shut up. So that, stay asleep. I don't care if you're not woke. Just stay asleep. When you're asleep, that means your mouth does not open, which means verbal diarrhea can't escape. It's just what it is. It makes sense to me. In terms of stuff that's kind of cringe here versus Japan, I immediately think of Brooke asking for panties in One Piece. See, I don't watch One Piece because it's very long and I'm behind. But yeah, I could see how that's an issue. I think YouTube deleted about gay orgies on a review. Probably. It is. I really don't. If I put anything like queer or, I can say LGBT, but if I put anything else other than that, like LGBT spectrum words, for some reason, the video will get demonetized, and sometimes it won't even allow me to put the full comment, even in like the title structure. The only place I've been able to put stuff is in the description so far, but they claim that's not really happening. And I'm like, I'm literally looking at it happen. So yeah, it's interesting for a company that's like, everybody's treated fairly. No, it's not. It's not. It's really not. Okay, so that one. Anime striptease. Every episode of the princess followed by costumes. I mean, yeah, you got to have them spinning naked. I mean, you can't transform without all your clothes coming off. Come on now. Can't do it. So, yeah. But that's anime 101. Like, and school uniforms give you power. That's what it means. Doesn't happen here, but all good. Let's see here. Trying to make sure that I have not forgotten or misread anything. If you see me scrolling, I'm actually trying to squint my old eyes at things. I apologize. Overall, though, I would love to see a video with your thoughts on the Quantum and Betsy resolution. Tina Howard wanted to focus on things that were about Betsy's original lore and Exo. How long ago was that, like how the issue? How many, has it been weeks? Is it really recent? Just let me know, because I will check that out and I will do that video, because I love Quantum. She is my girl. Quantum is the equivalent to Lady Shiva for me, because I love Lady Shiva in DC. Well, Quantum is my Marvel Lady Shiva. So I have no problem talking about her all day. So all day. I love Quantum. Let's see. As an Asian with this perspective, yeah. And see, my daughter's half Asian. My spouse is Asian. So I have very little Asian, by the way. My Blackness and my Scottish and my, I have a lot of stuff on 23andMe, but my Native American cultures are like the biggest part of me. So, and my grandfather is full Apache, or was full Apache. So I've always known this. I've always had that Native American, Black, and Scottish connections, because my mother was born and raised in Scotland. So I've had a very weird childhood. But like, I have a deep respect for, the struggles that my spouse has gone through as a Korean American. My daughter's father is half Chinese, half Vietnamese. So, hence why her name is Mai, M-A-I. So there's a lot, we eat a lot of Korean and technically Chinese, Vietnamese food here. I had to learn to make it all. So we have a really healthy respect for a lot of struggles within the Asian community. And I always have to say, I am so ticked off, not only about what's happening with our Black brothers and sisters on the streets, but let's be real. Asians are getting their asses handed to them. And it's not even them, just Hispanics. It's like, if you are a brown person, I feel like your life is already forfeit in this country. And then when you say something about it, then you have an agenda and you are woke. And I don't understand that. And it pisses me off. So that's the stuff you're going to hear about on that podcast channel that I'm starting, because I don't want to keep doing that on my nerd channel, even though I will say it every once in a while, because, people say you got to push stuff down people's throats. And I guess that may be true, because if you complain about it, then you're the problem. But yeah, it's just a thing, guys. It's a thing. Lady Shiva versus Black Widow. Let's go. Hell yeah. Well, Lady Shiva would fucking, oh, sorry. I missed it. I'm sorry. Maria came out. Black Widow would die. If she fought Lady Shiva. She would not last 2 minutes. Just letting you know. Maria, you will want to color Excalibur 17, 18, and 19 to get all the facts regarding the quantum. Okay. Excalibur 17 through 19. Okay. I really need to look at that, because I really, I love quantum. So I need to do, what I'll do is I'll read them and I'll do my opinion video over it, because I need to. Trina Howard did a good job connecting Quantum's lore from Hellions and Fallen Angels. See, I didn't read Fallen Angels. I did have Ernie on. He did not like Fallen Angels. But I have been trying to catch up with Hellions, and I love Quantum. I love how she talks to people. She just has this like whole attitude. like I think it was one of, I forgot who was disrespecting her, and she's like, he was like, why do I have to listen to you? I can take you out. And she's like, you can try. And I'm like, dude, you don't know. Like, you don't know what happened to you if you put your hands on Quantum. And I'm like, but you're gonna find out. Oh, I could see Quantum as a Power Ranger. And she'd do that line that Vita did in Mystic Force, but only it would be cool when she said it, like, pink is not my favorite color, but trust me, it's not going to be yours either. Quantum saying that. Oh, Lord. Okay, I've lost my mind. Let's see. What do you think of the live action Ghost in the Shell movie? I have not watched it, Janice. I try to give everything a chance, even if it's whitewashed, because that's what everyone was telling me, that it was completely washed. And I've seen the original Ghost in the Shell. I love Kusanagi. If they had done their own thing, it would have been a thing, but I don't know. Maybe eventually I will watch it, but I have not seen it yet. So I can't make an informed review, because I'm not informed. I'm like, I just know that they made Kusanagi white, and that's a Hollywood thing, and that's sad. Now, as for the actual plot, though, it could be really good. It could have been great because that's what normally happens. They'll do something problematic, but then the plot sometimes is pretty good, and then you're just really mad because it had potential. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to check that out. It's always interesting when certain heroes don't ever really meet up in a fight because you know one of them could be quick. Could be. I mean, and what makes me mad, what makes me so angry is depending on who the comic writer is, you already know. If, like, for instance, if you have, like, let's just say Hal Jordan versus Bruce Wayne. If you have somebody who is a hardcore Green Lantern fan who got this, project, and, of course, Batman's in it, they are absolutely going to write, that fight where Batman gets his ass handed to him because that's what they believe is going to happen. And it happens throughout every comic. And that's why we're like, you remember that issue when so-and-so, got their butt kicked? Well, who wrote it? And then obviously it means they like that character. And that's literally why this happens. They don't go by talk stats. No, they go by, well, I mean, it's a lantern and Bruce Wayne has no powers. So, duh. Which I know that Batman is brilliant and has contingency plans, but it is very true that he has no powers. And if any of them were seriously trying to kill him, they could do it. I'm like, so, I mean, he could die. Like Martian Manhunter could kill him from Watchtower in space. I'm like, so it's not really like he would live. If Bane could snap you in half like a twig and he's just an overpowered human, sucking in some really powerful steroids, you will die with people. If a metahuman, that's what we're calling them now, if a metahuman decided that you really needed to go, Batman, there's not a contingency plan in the world that would save that man. I'm just saying. Cover writers sometimes go by favoritism. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I don't like Joe Quesada, because he hated Mary Jane Watson, and that's why he revamped Spider-Man, because he's like, he couldn't believe that Peter Parker would have a girl like MJ. And I'm like, wow, you must hate yourself and your wife. I'm like, that's really messed up. And before Bruce Wayne busts out his Green Lantern repellent from his bat belt, it's right next to the shark repellent. You're absolutely correct. Don't worry, my contingency plan. I think if anybody was going to kill Bruce Wayne in the comic books, it was going to be Oliver Queen, because he is the one character he doesn't have a contingency plan for, because he thinks he's not a threat. And that's where I think he's stupid. I think you really should consider Oliver Queen a threat, because now he can kill you from many directions and you don't have anything to back it up. And you have no plan against it. So that was funny. Let's see, I already did that one. I refuse the live action whitewash. No, I want an Asian star in that role. In which role? Did I miss something? I probably said something. I talk a lot, so I agree with whatever you just said. Okay, there is no way when Batman can take on Lantern, who one of the most powerful forces in DC Universe, with bare infinite possibilities, or their will as their own limitation. I agree with that. Like, I love Jessica. I really think Kyle Rayner, because I already know Jon Stewart, but we've already seen Jon Stewart hit Batman and say, your superpower is people scare you, but bro, I am not scared of you. So what you gonna do now? Like, you already know. But Kyle Rayner, because he was an artist, his mind was very interesting, and the things he would construct with the ring were like intricate and very well thought out. Hal Jordan was more, he was a pilot, he was like brash, so he was able to just do things quickly because his mind moves in fast forward. It's almost like his brain is the Flash. But Kyle would think stuff out, and that's what made him dangerous. And what was really sad about Kyle is after his girlfriend was killed and stuffed in the refrigerator, so messed up, he got even better. He got even better with his abilities with the ring. So if he really wanted to take Bruce out, Bruce would be dead. So yeah. Bruce, a lot of people that are Batman fans are I love how we just left Marvel and went to DC. A lot of people who are Batman fans are very, very rabid. Now, disclaimer, I do not hate Batman. I look at every character individually. So yes, they put Superman on a pedestal because quite frankly, he was one of the first ever comic book characters. So, I mean, it's just what it is. He was the golden boy. They did give him a little bit of a conscience in that he can't save everyone. And that is his biggest thing. He's an outsider. He's an alien in a world he desperately wants to be accepted by, but he's got all these powers and people see him as OP and people see him as, problematic. And anything that's OP for a lot of people, unless it's in Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, like Dragon Ball people can be OP as hell and nobody has a problem. But like outside of that, when you're OP, you're like, oh, why you have so many powers? So it's just very interesting. But I think it's really funny that, people hate Superman, but they love Batman and they give Batman all of this like clout and all of this respect that quite frankly is very confusing to me, because this is a man who never went to therapy when his parents were killed, who dressed as a bat, who used his money to become a vigilante, who judges other superheroes for doing things pretty much similar to what he does, who gets mad at other heroes when they don't take care of their enemies, but yet lets Joker run around repeatedly doing whatever the hell he wants and escape Arkham like by the week. I mean, why do you keep putting him in Arkham if he's just going to break out and, again, next week? He does all of these problematic things, but because it's Batman, it's okay. So again, toxic. Batman needs therapy. Alfred even knows that Batman needs therapy. It's why Batman can't keep a stable relationship. I mean, yes, he would Selena Kyle, but Selena Kyle also needs therapy. So it's just what it is. It's just what it is. All the attacks you can do with Batman Arkham game would like fatal in real life. Hell, all the hits that he takes would be fatal in real life. There's no way you're gonna believe that his head is protected by his cowl, where it gets slammed through concrete and he's gonna live, and he's a regular human being with just very, advanced martial arts skills. I don't think so. No, not at all. The Lego Batman movie made fun of that, and well, they should. I tell you how many POCs are hungry for Jon Stewart to have his rightful place in the league and at the founding table. Cyborg is okay, and John Jones is okay, even though he was Ghost in our Invasion. Yeah, see, I already said this over in my Zack Snyder review. I do not understand why Martian Manhunter was just sitting here like, oh, you guys seem cool. Let's see how you handle saving the world so we're not all dead, and then I'll join you. I'm like, what? You've lived on this planet for how long? Get your ass in the fight. What is wrong with you? And why was there no Green Lantern in that sector? There was always a replacement Lantern. Always. You cannot tell me that the first battle, with the Themyscirians, Atlantans, and the World Men, and, Zeus and his son, all of them fighting together like eons ago, and they lost the Green Lantern, that they did not have a replacement by the time that this damn movie came out. No, I call BS on that. I'm hungry for Jessica Cruz and Vixen. It sounds wrong in retrospect, but they need their own movies and series. No, I mean, they're very respectable characters. Both of them have depth. Both of them have very good, backstories. And Jessica Cruz has PTSD. And I love that she has anxiety attacks and that she's not perfect, but she still has to find a reason to go out there and fight. Even when she can't even get out of bed, she has to respond. And I think that for me personally, that is a hero. It's not just somebody who has powers. It's somebody that can put their own stuff aside and overcome stuff to even go out and deal with things, because she is really messed up. And, they write her very well. They write her as a person who is trying to get over her PTSD and anxiety attacks or panic. She has panic disorder. I just love that. I love that she's not perfect. She's not, because there's so many heroes. I love Wonder Woman, but Wonder Woman doesn't have attacks. Diana's a panic attack. There's never will you see Diana walking around saying, oh, my chest is tight. I feel like something's going on. She's like, the only reason her chest will be tight is she got kicked. That is literally it. So I love that they have Jessica characters, because we need to have that. Like you said, mental health rep is just starting to gain momentum in the MCU. I absolutely agree. They did it a little bit with Tony, even though it was very weird. In Iron Man, I can't remember if it was 2. I think it's 3. It might have been 3. I don't remember. 2 or 3, where he was having anxiety attacks. He was really deeply affected by the events of the first Invasion and Avengers movie, the first Avengers movie. He had a lot of mental health issues from that. And everything that Tony did from that point on was based on that mental illness, or not really mental illness, but the PTSD he got. So yeah, it's a lot. A lot. Ted's whitewashed interpretation of ambiguous Arab villain doesn't shock me. like Nissa was a little bit, I mean, kind of act. I mean, she's. I need to know if she's half Asian. I really need to figure out her lineage in real life. But I got what they were doing with Nissa in Arrowverse. I just don't remember if the actress, what her actual ethnicity is. I need to figure that out. But I mean, I was just glad that she wasn't white, because they could have had everybody. All the League of Assassins are just white. It was just like, oh, okay, like. Tony and Weird taken out of context. So much fun. Yeah, Tony was a fun character. I love that he talks shit to Steve all the time. But so many, I'm telling you, you want to see some people fight? Just say something negative about Captain America and people will literally come out of the woodworks. No, you're trash. Tony's trash. Your face is trash. I'm like, okay. Oh, okay, all right. Let's see. I'm trying to move that up. Sorry. Did I read this one? Okay, I think I did read that one. Maybe I clicked on the wrong one. I'm sorry. I'm trying, guys. Selena was Bruce's best relationship, and don't give me that Talia nonsense. The Helena child is my favorite Bruce offspring storyline. Do you mean the Helena and the Birds of Prey TV show? Because I actually kind of like that. I like the show. I mean, for its time, it was pretty well done. I love the actress who played Barbara, our Oracle. I thought that they cast her very well. And then we had Rachel, Alice from Batwoman, as Canary's daughter. So I thought that was pretty cool, what they were doing with her. Honestly, I think they should have just named her Dinah and made her the daughter of Dinah, because then it would have made more sense considering the storyline in the comics. But, I suspended my disbelief and it was fine. Wait, why do the whole league look like they are not from the area in which they live? And why does Damian look more ethnic than his parents? Well, to be fair, a lot of the people from the league aren't from, I think it was I forgot the name of the island. Why did I forget the name of the freaking? You know where I'm talking about. Like, for some reason, my mind went to Coriana, but that's not where Ra's al Ghul was. But you know what I'm talking about. But a lot of the members actually did come from other places. And they were initiated in through very horrible and gruesome tasks that they had to perform to prove loyalty. So not everyone is from Ra's al Ghul. We're going to call it Ra's al Ghul's Island, because that's how he recruited people. Wait, then Terry, who, fun fact, is technically a Bruce and Kyle product as well. Yeah, Terry's Bruce from Batman Beyond was absolutely Bruce's son. And that's such a mess. It's such a mess. Speaking of older superhero TV shows, did you ever watch Mantis? That sounds very familiar to me. Why does Mantis? Oh, Lord, Kevin, why? Why you aging me, man? I gotta go over and look at stuff with my old eyes. Hold on. Did I watch Mantis? I love when I put Mantis in. And I know who Mantis is in Marvel Universe. I love how I put Mantis in, and it shows me everything to do with praying mantises. They're how long they stay out and all kinds of stuff. But I'm like, you know what? That's not where I'm going with this TV series. Is what I'm looking for. Have I seen this? I don't think I've seen this. 1994? Huh? No, I have not seen this. They have one season. I probably should check this out. Wait, we're not. I don't even think this is based off the Marvel character. Wait, what is this? All right, I am intrigued now. I'm going to have to research that, because his costume looks cool. But yeah, 1994. I have not seen this series. I don't even know where that would have aired at for me, but Did not see that series. So good looking out. So now I got something else to be like, can I find these old episodes somewhere? Let's see. Oh, wait. Forget Bruce. We need Terry. I mean, we're never getting that movie. You know, I've been trying to get a Batman Beyond movie putting it in the cosmos. We're not getting that movie. I don't know how you keep track of all these superhero shows. It's a superhero feat in itself. So real talk. I was a military brat. And I was born in Zweibrücken, Germany in 1976, which means there was nothing good on TV. I used to watch Doctor Who, Tom Baker, with all the aluminum foil Cybermen, and my dad was an avid comic book collector. So the reason I was into comics is because my dad had them in the house, and he had everything from Spider-Man to Sandman. So like I grew up reading that. And then when I was a teenager, I was obsessed with X-Men. I loved Wildcats. I liked Gen 13. There were so many different comics that I liked. And it just led to other comics, because you can't just read a comic series and follow a storyline without not realizing that you had to read 5 other different titles to get the conclusion. So like it just became a thing. I have forgotten how much stuff I knew about comics. So that's why sometimes you'll catch me and I'm like, who the hell is that? And I have to go and think about it. I will Google it, but I won't get the whole story. So then I have to sit here and think, do I own this comic? Or sometimes I'll turn him like, do you remember who the hell this was? It's also like me. He's very like, I kind of feel like comics and Power Rangers and Sentai was also his whole life. Because I also had a lot of like Sentai VHS tapes, because in Germany and in Germany, and then we were stationed in Switzerland, we would get like the VHS, like old Super Sentai series. So like Go Ranger, Jack, all that. So that's why I got into Sentai, because my dad was into that too. So my dad, but he did give me a lot of hobbies. And they were good hobbies. So yeah, that's why I'm kind of like, I remember this, I remember that. And if I don't remember it, it usually clicks because through association of something else. So yeah. But then there are days now in my 40s where I forget my name. So I'm like, you'll say a character and I'm like, that sounds familiar. I don't remember who the hell that is. And I don't remember what I had for lunch today. So it's what it is. Let's see. Check out the movie first. Oh, so they had a movie of Mantis, and then they made the TV show from Mantis. I need to check that out. You mean Sci-Fi's Black Scorpion? Yeah, that was a super show made for adults. Yeah, see, I don't think I've seen Black Scorpion either. Learning some stuff. I'm being educated, Kevin. I wonder which came first, Mantis with the exosuit to walk again, or Oracle retaking the battle Mantis with enhancer suit. I want to say Mantis came first. I remember when Oracle first got injured, she just had her standard wheelchair and she didn't like it. Remember, she would just sit in that chair, and it took a long time for her to want to do anything, which makes sense. I mean, if Joker came and basically made me paralyzed and implied rape, I probably would have a lot of mental issues too. So props to her for getting past all that and even becoming Oracle, and then with the Birds of Prey. But even to this day, that whole panel of what he did to Barbara messes with my head so much, because it really looked like not only did he mess her up and make her paralyzed by beating the hell out of her, that he raped her too. And it just really set wrong in my mind. Okay, Ray, I think I missed something. Okay, we already did that. Okay, unrelated. Why can't Marvel Mantis fight? She's supposed to be better than Shang-Chi. Because it's MCU version. I'm like, that's why. It's like I said with the review today with Falcon and Winter Soldier. In what world does Bucky go down with 2 people holding him? I don't care if it's a super soldier serum. There's no universe where he would go down like that. It's just like when they introduced Winter Soldier, and remember the flashback that Black Widow was having in Winter Soldier, where she said that she came across him. I don't remember if it was, I think it was in that movie, where she talks about the scar she had, and basically it was from meeting with him and he almost killed her. And then you realize in the comics that him and Natasha were actually a thing. You know, that always was weird to me. The whole thing with Bucky and Natasha was always so strange because Natasha really was the love of Bucky's life in the comics. And so to see that they had no connection whatsoever in this, and then they were also making Black Widow out to be kind of easy because, you know, she was, you know, Tony was flirting with her, but, you know, she was flirting and even kissed, you know, Steve. Then she was trying to get it on with Hulk. And it was just like, they made it seem like, and they even applied that maybe her and Hawkeye had a thing in the past too. They kind of made it seem like she was easy, which, to be fair, Natasha in the comics shared herself frequently. I mean, she was with Daredevil. She tried to get on with Spider-Man. She did get it on with Steve. Of course, she was a Winter Soldier. She was with Hawkeye. I mean, the list of people that Natasha has slept with is immense, enormous, and we don't know the scope. I think the only person that is a bigger free person in the Marvel universe is Nick Fury, because that's when we realized the reason his wife broke up or divorced him is because not only did he have a little black book of conquest, Nick Fury got it on with his wife's mother and sister while they were married. So, you know, it's what it is. Well, we are actually over a little 2 hours. We're gonna have to wrap this up pretty soon because people are gonna be like, why are these streams so long? Because we're having fun, guys. It's a party. I've always been fond of superheroes like Bionic Woman. I used to love Bionic, and the Bionic Man was hilarious. The sound effect to this day always cracks me up. Is way better than $1 Million Man, and She-Hulk is way better than the Hulk to me. I am so excited for She-Hulk series. I really want them to do a Squirrel Girl series too, but they won't. Underestimating my girl, but that's fine. Painkiller came back in a couple of months from being paralyzed. Barbara takes lessons from Khalil. Khalil had his whole freaking spine ripped out. I don't get that at all, but you know, whatever. Wow, Black Scorpion is on DVD. Huh. Better check that out. Yeah, Bucky getting easily taken out was like off that whole scene on top of that truck. Just like when he was like, you know, you had this truck, right? You see my little cute plant. And you had this truck, right? And they were like right here. And he goes running up in front of this truck, full view. And then he hops in the back. He just like opens the door and this truck is like here. And I'm like, do you think they don't see you? Like, if you're trying to be strategic, it ain't working. So yeah. Let's see. I love Palm's manners, but she needs to start breaking people with her hands. Will, isn't Drax and Gamora really supposed to be immensely powerful characters in the first place? They seem below Captain America's power-wise. Because MCU. I remember Pamela Anderson was a super spy. Stripperella was a trip and totally made for adults and made by Spike Lee. Yeah, Pamela Anderson was also on a show called VIP, which was very funny. I don't know how Hulk and Natasha was making that work, but I'm not hating on her for getting that gamma radiation Hulk buster. I'm done with you, Ray. Bye, Maria. Great review as always. Thank you, fandom. Thank you for showing up. We're gonna end this stream in like 1 minute because like you guys need a life outside of me, and then you have one, and I'm keeping you from it. So I appreciate you hanging out with me, though. I really do. There's another superhero show on Fox called Nightman. I know about Nightman. The other two shows I had no idea. I don't know about Mantis or Black Scorpion. So that's interesting, but I do know about Nightman. Gamma radiation should be a concern for Natasha. All forms of radiation should be a form for all characters, which is why they wrote that really interesting Spider-Man gave Mary Jane cancer through his sperm. Leave that alone. That was so weird. But Hulk can apparently absorb gamma radiation into his body. Cure people of gamma poisoning. Also, one last show called Super Force. Super Force. Have I seen Super Force? Don't think I've seen that one. Have I? 1992. But a former astronaut turned cop who uses highly advanced powered exoskeleton and a motorcycle to fight crime in the city of Metroplex. Huh. I mean, I'm not unopposed to seeing that. I like some of those older shows. Like I used to watch Buck Rogers. So I mean, stuff like that is cool to me. So I probably would check that out. You should definitely post that, Kevin, when you have a chance. Post those show names because again, I'm old and I won't remember. For some reason, I'm remembering Excalibur 17 through 19, but that's literally all I got right now. I don't see how MCU carries on without its titular character. I mean, Captain America is the Avenger brand. Well, that's why they're reinventing him. But to be fair, and I have said this, Captain America does not make Marvel. And so there are a lot of characters and a lot of series in their own right that are very effing interesting. And Captain America is kind of like the vanilla compared to some of their storylines. He's bland compared to them. Strength is one thing. Personality is another. And I want to read characters that have flaws. I want to read characters that do things like Jessica, overcome obstacles to do things. I don't need to talk. I don't want to have like a super soldier who just sits around and judges people. So, and again, I don't hate Steve in the comics. I'm just saying he is a very vanilla to me. And I like spice. So it is what it is. Thank you, Kevin. You're awesome. Okay, a couple more. And Anthony Mann will be a great subject for Captain America. I'm looking forward to Sam becoming Captain America because he looks really cool in the suit in my Marvel Puzzle Quest game. It's like Justice League without being the big three, a bot mess, but no Superman. Whole Snyderverse and Whedon. I'm like, where is the House of L representation? I agree. You got to have a Kryptonian. That's the whole problem that I have with Crisis on Infinite Poop in Arrowverse. They had all this whole planet full of freaking, that whole planet full of Kryptonians. You basically had a planet of Kandor, and you're like, I'm gonna save Lois and the Superman from Superman and Lois, and no other Kryptonians. Man, we're not trying to save the world. We ain't trying to save the universe. We're not trying to save the multiverse. We're stupid. Joe's Geek Show made a really good point. Not many people cared about Captain America prior to MCU. It was more about Spidey and X-Men. Very true. Because he's vanilla. MCU skyrocketed the attention that Captain America, Jyoti and other S's received. I agree with that. And see, the one thing that me and Ernie will always disagree on, he hates Iron Man, but he loves Captain America. And I don't hate Captain America. I just don't like him in the MCU. But I am the opposite in the MCU. So like Blur Without Fear hates Tony in the comics and in the MCU. And I don't. So we will always disagree about that. So I said, we can't talk about that. We're two Sagittariuses. We're not going back down. I'm with him being better than us. Let's see. It's why he's worthy. He's superior. So where is Kara in this timeline? Isn't she before the formation of the League? Who knows? I'm a lot of characters were formation of the League. The Wonder Twins, being anybody. We're, like I said, I hate them both. I mean, personality-wise, they're both dicks. I mean, let's be real. I don't like Captain America and Tony Stark. That's fair. That's fair. So you are the anomaly. You're on the gray line of just understanding that they both are crap, which is fine. I just see Tony being more realistic because he acts like a real person. He has flaws and he can be an asshole, but he still did the right thing, even though he is an a-hole. And then you have Steve, who basically, I am the representation of everything great. I never lie. I jump on the grenade for the little guy. I do everything. Oh, wait, what? What is that, Peggy? You want me to come back and help father your babies? Yep. Well, I'm out, guys. See ya. Like, what a hero. I don't like him. I hate Iron Man, but I'm okay with Batman. I hate spoiled rich dudes, cliche, and barely can stand Ollie, and Booster Gold is annoying. Booster Gold is always annoying, but he's funny. But he's not rich, just super privileged. He just got really lucky with tech. That's what Booster Gold did. And he gets the time travel. I do like him a little bit in Deceased. But yeah, whatever. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really want to keep this conversation going forever, but we will be at 12 hours and I don't know what that happens on live streams. We just keep talking. But as for Falcon and Winter Soldier, again, very good episode. If you have some theories, post them below. I have some theories that I really hope play out, but I'm not going to say. I already said one. I'm really hoping that John is in for the super soldier serum, and that he's going to get it, and that might be his goal to get it because he's super obsessed with Steve. So I'm thinking that might be one avenue that they take, but I want you to tell me what you think, especially how do you think Sam is going to transition into being Captain America? Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. But yeah, let me know. But yeah, have a good Friday, guys. You will see, hopefully, I don't know when we're getting this Wings video. I'm trying, guys. It's the bane of my existence right now, but I am not giving up. It's going to happen. I will say it will be up by Sunday, even if it's 14 gig, because I'm going to give up at this point and not try and shrink it anymore. I'm just going to give up. But I will still have my 2 videos tomorrow. So you're going to see Ruby. I think it's the mid-season finale again. I don't know. It might be the last episode. I don't know. I have to look at it. But we're definitely doing Ruby tomorrow. And unless it doesn't air, because Nickelodeon's flaky, then you should have episode 5 of Power Rangers Dino Fury, but I don't know for sure. So be on the lookout for those 2 videos. And then, of course, we're going to have our, whole Kong versus Godzilla, because that's the order it should be in if it's not, movie review, because I'm going to watch the hell out of that movie when it comes out, because I'm super excited for that movie. So that will be coming out, but I believe it airs on the 31st, which should be a Wednesday. So it'll be Wednesday night. So I'm either going to make a video or a live stream, but it's happening, guys. We were talking about that movie. It is happening. All right. I love you guys. Have a good Friday night. If I don't see you at any point, potentially even at the Charm stream on Sunday night, then have a very good weekend. And I will talk to you guys later. I'm going to go hang out with my spouse for an hour and then we're working on the video, because that's what I do. But thanks for hanging out, guys. And we will try and cut these streams shorter, because I think I am going to move this to more of a membership thing, because then we can feel good about being in here for 2 hours just talking about random stuff. Love you.